One thing you should know about me is that I hate clutter, and I hate it so much that it's almost gone to a point now where I find enjoyment from cleaning and tidying up, almost to like a neurotic level. But on the flip side, you could also say that a lack of clutter helps me to achieve an inner calm and a clearer state of mind. This video is going to address a specific kind of minimalism. So we're going to take the philosophy of minimalism, which is the idea that you can get more out of life by living on less, and that you can free yourself from the stressors of having excess stuff by not having that excess stuff to begin with. We're gonna take that philosophy and we're gonna look at the way that it's applied to our relationship with technology. This is called digital minimalism. But first, a reminder, if you haven't subscribed already, please consider doing so, because I make videos like this at least once a week, just sharing with you all the tips and tricks I've learned along the way in this multi-year journey that I've been on my quest to achieving inner peace. I just said that, and you know what? We're gonna roll with it. Okay, back to digital minimalism. Contrary to popular belief, being a minimalist in terms of your usage of technology is not like living the way the Amish live, at least not in the way that you think. So the fallacy is that the Amish don't use technology, but they actually love technology. They're just really intentional and really picky when it comes to the type of technology that they use. The Amish don't adopt any type of technology before it's been rigorously tested to their standards and before they've decided that, yes, this piece of technology adds to our lives and to our communities in a way that no other resource can. Considering the way that we live nowadays, where it seems like everywhere you go, there's an opportunity to be hyper-connected, and where we feel like that is what we're doing, being hyper-connected, more efficient. As a result of that, we're actually more disconnected than we've ever been. Considering all of that, it really seems like we could learn a thing or two from the Amish. For my video today, I'm gonna draw upon the book Digital Minimalism by Cal Newport, and I'm gonna share with you 5 rules for getting the most out of the digital minimalist philosophy. Rule number 1 is to begin with a digital declutter. Cal Newport recommends that you begin your digital minimalist lifestyle with a hard and fast 30-day digital declutter. So that means for 30 days, you avoid any use of non-essential technology. That means no social media, unless, of course, if it's for work, no games, no TV. Take, for example, news apps. These apps can be a little bit difficult to sort of identify as non-essential, because at surface value, they do present a level of utility to us. Otherwise, why would we be using them? In fact, you could extend that logic to most of the apps on our phones. If you're uncertain, ask yourself, is this the best app for delivering the utility that I require? Yes, it could be really important to you to stay informed with the news, but it doesn't necessarily mean that having an app on your phone and having its push notifications have access to you around the clock is the best means for you to do so. You could designate certain times of the week for you to log on to your browser on your computer to consume and read and catch up on the news that way. The key here is to put yourself in a position where you are in control of the apps that you use and not the other way around. And I get that this 30-day digital declutter can be really jarring to some, and I'll be honest, I'm sharing with you what I've read from a book, but I personally haven't applied this to myself to the extent that it's recommended. So just be wary that what I'm sharing with you are principles, and obviously you can decide how much of it you want to take. But Cal Newport's intention with the 30-day digital declutter is for us to get back to a blank slate, to allow our palettes to be cleansed of sorts. And so that after the 30-day period, we can make really intentional choices about the types of technology that we want to introduce back into our lives. And even if not that, at the end of that 30-day period, you can at least find solace and satisfaction in your newfound ability to take pleasure in the simpler things in life. Rule number 2, Be intentional about introducing or reintroducing any new technology back into your life. You've done the declutter, you've made the room, and now it's time to be intentional about what you bring back into your life. To help you with your decision making, Cal Newport recommends that you ask yourself the following questions. Does this piece of technology support something I deeply value? Is it the best way to support whatever it is I deeply value? And if I were to introduce this technology into my life, how can I use it in a way that maximizes value and minimizes harm? Rule number 3, ditch your phone for solitude. The author talks about Generation Z, aka the generation, those who were born after 1995, who sort of never really knew a life without smartphones. This generation faces a unique paradox of being simultaneously hyper-connected while also being more isolated and lonelier than ever before. It's no wonder that amongst this generation, anxiety, depression, eating disorders are prevalent at rates that are alarming. iGen or not, I feel like as a society, we can all relate to this phenomenon of being simultaneously hyper-connected and also being more isolated from our peers than ever before. It's just the way that we live now and the way that our lifestyles are oriented. There is value in solitude. You know those ideas that strike, those little strokes of genius or insights that seem to come when you least expect them to? That comes when you have room to be alone with your thoughts. The problem is so many of us seem to be so uncomfortable with being alone with ourselves. We are so used to always having the companionship of an app. What better way to introduce more solitude into your life than by leaving your phone behind the next time you step out? This is a small change you can make in your life today that can lead to tremendous results in the long run. Rule number 4, stop clicking like and get on the phone instead. According to the American Journal of Preventive Medicine, the more time you spend on social media, the lonelier you feel. Liking or even leaving comments on our friends' content can make us feel like we're having our social needs met. But in reality, it's sort of tricking us into believing that we're having something met when we're actually not. And as a result of that, we could actually be neglecting our social needs or letting them fall to the wayside under the guise of, well, I mean, I am social, I'm hyper-connected. The fact of the matter is, a phone call can do so much more for fulfilling our needs for social engagement than, let's say, 100 emojis could ever do. Cal Newport references in his book one Silicon Valley executive who has let everybody in his immediate circle know that between the times of 5:30 and 6:30 p.m. every single day, you can call him up to talk about anything that you want. This executive has deemed his hours to be not office hours per se, but conversation hours. And while I think this is a cool idea, not necessarily one I would do, I mean, the essence of it is really, really cool-ish. Rule number 5. Choose high-quality leisure activities over low-quality leisure activities. One of the aims of digital minimalism is to allow you to create more room in your life for activities that truly enhance your life. And so the logic of this last tip goes, what good is creating all of this room if you're just going to use the added resources and energy to numb yourself to Netflix shows you don't even particularly care about? It might not be readily apparent that there are different ways to unwind, and certain ways are actually more rewarding to us on a neurochemical level than other ways. At first glance, it might seem that all you really need to do is to unwind and move as little as possible, but in reality, it's activities like hikes, working on crafts, or trying out that recipe you've always wanted to try out. These are the activities that reward you more. Thanks so much for joining me for this video. I hope you found this to be interesting or helpful. Please comment below and let me know which tip you enjoyed the most, whether you think a 30-day digital declutter is too extreme, and whether or not you want to try it. If you haven't subscribed already, please consider doing so, and to everybody else, I will see you in my future videos. Digital minimal